Hello, everyone, and I would like to welcome you to our webinar series, episode 6. Today, we are going to cover a very important topic, which is understanding importance of architecture of sports. So before our speaker comes in, I would like to take some of your time and explain you about our company, Seedtree Collaborative. What is Seedtree Collaborative? To take you on a very small journey about our company, if I had to explain my company in a very single line, it's the best line that you can ever find. We are a digital services marketplace for construction industry. Yes, we operate online, and we prefer to bring benefits to both our clients and our professionals. How do we bring benefits to both our clients and professionals? It's a very simple technique that we use, is that we bring clients a list of members, a list of professionals that we have, the members that we have in front of them, qualified experts in their field, so that our client has an options to choose between the best of them, and they get the best, and we guarantee that we always provide them with the best. And for our professionals, we have two particular benefits that we provide them. The first benefit is obviously we give them clients. We bring them clients, we bring them leads, which can convert it into a potential client. And the second part that we do is the most important thing that we want to grow more and more is the networking part of it. We want to grow our network in such a way that we can give all our architecture, engineering, and construction professionals a platform through which they can come together and interact, collaborate, and grow their business, not only through their respective places, but also to the entire global factor that you want to look into. Yes, we want to grow your business globally, not just to your state, not just to your place, but to the entire world. So that is why I would like to take you to a very small exercise that we wanted to do, or you can say a fun thing. Let's connect. We have started a Telegram group for all our AEC professionals until our speaker comes in and till she joins us so that we can start with the webinar. I would like to take some of your time, and I would like you to show our Telegram group, which we have been working on so far. I would like to show you the benefits that you will get through which you can understand what I'm exactly trying to tell you. So as you can see, I've just got into the particular group that we have. And as you can see, we have started promoting our professionals, and we have started interactive sessions. Along with that, we have also introduced everyone to quiz, to a different kind of quiz. We are putting different kind of situation in front of them. Along with that, we are trying to build in more and more communication between. As you can see, even earlier on, some of our members have started inquiring about how they can collaborate and how they can put in the entire effort and come together. So what we'd like to do is, I'm going to post our Telegram group link in the chat, and I would like everyone go to their respective Telegram and join our particular group. For this particular exercise, I would like to give you 1 minute of time, and your time starts now. So please go ahead, enter our group, come together, come to a particular place, come to our group, go through the entire platform, go to the messages, go to the entire thing, understand what we are trying to promote, understand what platform we are trying to create. Once you have understood the entire thing, I would like you to put a small introduction about yourself. No matter what you do, we just want you to communicate, we just want you to collaborate, and we just want you to grow your business globally. Sorry, we have a time up, but not a problem. I'm still going to post my Telegram group again. You can join us at any point of time, and you can come together. You can go through the entire thing, and you can join us, look at our chats, and then you can decide whether you want to stay on the group or not. And also put a small introduction about yourself. No matter what you do, We appreciate you coming to our group and interacting with each other. So before I begin with the entire session and give our give our speaker the platform, I would like you to introduce to our founder, architect Karan Athodaria. The first, the first point that I'm putting to is the most important point. He's the man. He's the visionary. When we were suffering from the COVID-19 pandemic surface, and we were facing a lot of problems, people were at their places and they were not able to understand what to do, what has to be done at this point of time. Karan came up with a solution. He came up with Seedtree Collaborative. He said, if every other platform, if every other industry can come online, can come digital and perform best at their digital platforms, then why can't construction industries? Even during his 9 years of experience in architecture, he identified various gaps in our architecture and industry, in our industry, and also came up with solutions for the same. His aim is to create a single point of contact that provides golden opportunities to professionals to expand globally and clients to get work done easily. So he's bringing together both our clients and our professional digitally. Such a great idea and such a great person that he is. Moving on, meet our speaker, architect Kartiki Arondekar. Arondekar ma'am is not only the proprietor but also the principal architect of Design 3.14. She started her career with architectural consultants in Mumbai, at Mumbai. She was a team leader plus senior architect for 10 years with Shashi Prabhu and Associates at Mumbai. Not only her, her father was an architect. He's an ex-alumni of the Academy of Architecture with 40 years of experience and is still now practicing with his friend in Mumbai for the last 30 years. Even though he was an architect, he never said Kartiki ma'am to work with him. He always promoted her to work outside to understand the field and to get to know the knowledge as much as she can, and which she has taken a beautiful, which she has taken the opportunity very greatly, and she has come to this particular platform as she is now. So I would like to hand over this entire stage to Kartiki ma'am, and I would like you to continue with our webinar. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Shubhash. Good evening, everybody. So I think Shubhash had spoken a lot nice things about me, and I'm very much thankful to Seedtree Collaborative to provide me this platform to connect with everybody over here and share whatever small pieces of knowledge I have with everybody. I hope it is going to help you, and the presentation will be interesting for every one of you. So why this topic? And I think everybody is very happy and proud of like how India has performed in Olympics 2020 and at the same time Olympics Paralympics 2020. We have these 7 medals in Olympics, Tokyo Olympics. Can anybody tell us or write in the chat box that where do we stand in the medal tally? Shubhash, if you can just send the poll.
I have run the poll. I would like everyone to respond to this particular question.
Nice to know all these things. Yes, we stand 48 in the medal tally, and it is not a good number. That's what I feel. But the proud moment is we stand 26 in the medal tally at Tokyo Paralympics. So that is something we have to be very proud of and think that things are moving ahead at a different tangent altogether. So going forward, we announced that India is going to attempt for the hosting of this coming up Olympics to 2032 Olympics, and we are getting prepared for it, and we are definitely going to pitch for it. So again, can anybody guess who is going to host the 2032 Olympics?
I would like everyone to respond to our question. I have already posted the poll. So please go ahead and put in your answers. We would like to know your opinion.
Hello. Yeah, definitely not India. So let's run through this slide now. We'll come to the answers. So we were preparing for the hosting. 2026 Olympics in Milan is going to be hosted by Italy and France also in conjunction. And 32 Olympics is going to be hosted preferably by Brisbane. So where do we lack? And why didn't we win? If we want to host it in 2040, we need to understand that where we all need to prepare, at what levels we need to prepare, right at the micro level, that is you, me, and everybody in this country as an individual person. When our leaders have such a broad vision, we have to support all these things. We have to support, and we as architects also need to identify that how do we take this concept of hosting the event forward. So as architects and AEC fraternity, we are involved in almost everything, like right from primary basic needs, we talk about eat, wear, live. The new basic needs are work, learn, heal, play, and travel, go. What happened during COVID pandemic? The primary needs were only eat and live, where wearing was like supported with the industries only, and heal and play became the major role. So to sustain in this such scenario, we understood that health and sports or staying active physically were like two basic factors to keep us going on, keep ourselves moving ahead in the life. And that's how we have to as architects support these facilities and develop the more sports infrastructure. So as architects, where do we start from? Is the history. So in the history, if we study the old civilizations, they had large open theaters, sports stadia which promoted arts and sports, basically war based or more of a rivalry based, but still it had some identity, it had some character, it had the character of bringing people together, arrange a large congregation and enjoy just one event in the center. So this is, you're looking at hippodromes which were majorly used for chariot races, and you had a stadia seating around it. And later the same form was evolved as a circus maximus, where gladiator fights used to happen and chariot races used to happen. If you see, Circus Maximus is more like a complex stadium which we see nowadays, with lot of multiple stories and lot of other activities, paraphernalia facilities coming into the picture. Further on, the amphitheaters were a big popular thing in those days, where musical concerts used to be hosted. Like amphitheater at Verona is the first of its kind in the Greece, and obviously everybody knows about the Colosseum, so I need not talk about it. But yeah, the Colosseum was blend of this earlier Circus Maximus and the amphitheater concept. So you could see the basement levels also down there, multiple tier seatings, other paraphernalia facilities, and everybody enjoyed the gladiator fights or the animal fights and bull fights and everything. So further on, the first modern Olympic stadium was built in the White City Stadium with the capacity. So this was the first stadium where the first hosting of the event was done in the world. Now in India, if you look at the history, we had sports. We had sports in ancient India which were war training based and which encouraged the physical development like archery, Malayuddha, Malkham, horse riding, sword fight, wrestling, kabaddi, kho-kho, jallikattu, valamkali, out of which kabaddi is recognized. Archery, kabaddi, these sports are recognized internationally, even the wrestling. And you had the war training based sports which were intellectual developed for the intellectual level, which you call either chess or shatranj, just linking all these things with the mythological events and images. So this is what India had, and these were the sports based majorly played in open grounds, clay courts, warlands, or at natural water courses. So going forward, it's about going for the self introspection. Where do we stand in the Olympics? With 120 athletes, with the population of 120 crore of people, we were just 120 athletes and we just have settings. Well, how many students and families take sports seriously, and how many students select sports as their full-time career against the other highly paid jobs? So this is a time to think, like, why do we give preference to the education only? Obviously the education is a primary need, but why not sports? The grooming is not in such a way. The sports awareness among society is the second category we need to look at, the factor. There are more followers of cricket than any other games in India. In fact, it's like a religion. I may not talk much about it, but cricket is kind of so famous because of the marketing and the money in it. The game obviously is an interesting thing, but it is more popular than that. You will have people who will remember the statistics of each and every individual players, their favorite players, so clearly. The statistics about the matches and the schedules they have by heart. In Indian culture, the mindset at every parent is to train their child to earn a fixed income and support family, which can be provided by other sectors, and not sports. Playing, gaming, sports is looked at as a recreation hobby and not as a profession. So apart from cricket, if you talk about hockey, how many of you know that how many medals we won at Olympics in the hockey game? So the next question is, how many times India won hockey gold medals?
Until the time they are filling the poll, can you take time and see what the background noise is? Or you can tell it another microphone.
I just checked. I think it's about the microphone. Can I just go on the open speaker? But then it will create more echo. Is it too much?
It is too much, ma'am. It is too much now.
I have just put on the laptop speaker. Is this clear or it's more noise?
It's still the same, and plus then we are facing a little bit of a network issue, I guess.
Wait.
Till that time, I would like to tell you a little fun fact. Even though we thought that hockey is a national sport, it is actually not our national sport. India doesn't have any national sport. We earlier on thought that we had a history of a good hockey medals and we were doing good, but the entire concept came is because we never gave up in our fight according to our hockey league. I think everybody must have seen that movie Gold. So through that fight, that entire thing had brought up the entire thing of that entire thing has brought up in front of us that hockey is our national sport. We've always been taught that hockey is our national sport, but it is actually not. You guys can Google it and see it if you want to. So it's an amazing fact that I want to share with
Check
you.
if the noise is still there.
It is still there, ma'am. I'm really sorry to say, but it is still there.
Just check now.
This is much better, ma'am. This is much better. Yes, please.
Sure. It was a fan. So I
I'm
found
gonna
out what
end
was.
the poll. I'm gonna share the results for you.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. No. Okay. Can everybody see the results in this case?
Everyone can express their views and opinions on chat at any point of time you want to. If you even if you want to ask any questions, it is at any point of time you can send any message to the chat, and I will make sure that I deliver the message to the
So,
speaker.
for everybody's information, India won 8 medals at hockey in Olympics till now, and I think that was like wonderful performance. But this year it was not that great, but still satisfactory because we won the bronze also after like many years since our last win. So going forward, so why do we lack and what is the infrastructure in our country today? So we have excellent cricket stadium built across the countries. One is at Dharamshala, which is the most beautiful location at the highest altitude, and the second one is at New Motera with the largest capacity of 1 lakh plus spectators in entire world. But the same attention is not given on the development of other infrastructures. So there may be multiple reasons. I feel it is lack of interest or lack of inclination of people towards the other sports, and the finance factor as well. Whereas at the rural setups, you see you have big open spaces, playgrounds, but due to lack of funding, they're just open grounds. They're not developed, and the available infrastructure in the cities is very expensive. So it is very difficult for the village students to approach. Some large real estate developers and schools have introduced sports amenities in their site developments, but they do not function well due to expensive maintenance. So we need to work around all these things. As architects, we need to work around all these factors. So going forward, we need to break the ice and move ahead, encourage young generation to follow various sports and activities, not just cricket, cinema and fashion, and encourage the students at young age and bring the sports in their lifestyle as a routine. So for which we need to have housing complexes, community centers and schools having self-sustainable sports facilities. So stadia in modern India, I'm just running you through the best stadia in India, which is like Indira Gandhi Indoor Stadium is one of its first indoor stadium. Jawaharlal Nehru Stadium, why? Because we hosted Commonwealth Games over here. Wankhede Stadium, of course, we won and hosted ICC Cricket World Cup in 2011. And New Motera Stadium, everybody knows for the capacity and the grandness of this complex. So what are the basics of the space planning for any sports complex? So planning at macro level, sorry. So basic principle is large sport complexes are often built over a period of time because of the finance funding going into it, the natural growth or the land availability, the scale of it, and to ensure that ultimate development is consistent in terms of aesthetic and functional quality and efficiency, and to avoid abortive work, we have to have comprehensive plan for the entire project, which has to be evolved at the very outset. Key hinges in the sports planning are correct zoning, the separation of incompatible uses within the site boundaries such as direct sporting functions, parking, pedestrian, vehicular circulation, local building codes is a major key hinge, safety is a major key hinge, and maintenance of course. And how we decide the sequence for planning of the sports complex. It's about pitch or the central play field, which will derive the shape and dimension of the arena and the stadium, the orientation of the pitch, seating capacity and angle of vision, the zoning, circulation, services, and aesthetics. So my next question would be like, what governs the orientation of the any sports play field? Is it Vastu, Earth's magnetic field, or the sunlight? I think this is very simple.
Yes, ma'am. I've shared the results.
Nice, sunlight. Yes. Earth's magnetic field, definitely no. So orientation of the pitch is sun is a major factor. It always has to be at the side of the pitch during the play, and if you observe, the teams switch the ends of the pitch. Like in cricket, also you have every over the end is switched, or in the tennis also the after each and every game or a set the ends are switched by the players. Why so? Because it has to be ultimately fair game for each and every player. The benefit or drawbacks, whatever it is, of the sunlight should be supportive to both the players. The wind direction, of course, and the weather or cloudiness, whatever. I mean, all these natural factors are there. It should be benefited to the players. The hemisphere in which the stadium is located, that derives the orientation of pitch, and the period of year when you're playing the game, and the times of the day, like whether it is a daytime, afternoon, night time, whichever game, and special local environmental conditions. So if you see the diagram, so you have this north-south alignment. Most probably it is always the tilt is towards left on by 15 to 20 degrees in the northern hemisphere. And if you are going to the southern hemisphere, if you see the Google Earth, you see all the pitches which are in the southern hemisphere, they're tilted towards the right hand side of the north by 20 degrees or so. And if you're seeing this orange buffer is for all the general track based or field pitch games, which you see, I mean, this much tilt is allowed for those games. And if you're seeing this yellow buffer, it is acceptable for football and rugby. So this much of orientation can be tilted in that particular direction. Radius, I've written here 200 feet radius, that is from the center of the pitch till the end where the last spectator sits. If you're sitting beyond this, you're watching ants. So this is the best depth or best radius for any arena or any stadium. So angle of vision, is everybody able to see this diagram clearly? Yeah, okay. So the best angle of vision is for the central tiers. If you notice the IPL tickets, everybody is fond of cricket or any other game. These tiers are the most expensive ones. The last rows here, the topmost tiers are the less costly, and even the lowermost tiers are like mid-range costly. Why so? Because from this angle, from this level, you can view the game, the play field in one go. You can see the entire team routine happening or entire team functioning together. The movement of the ball is seen perfectly, whereas at top, I think it is the scariest part when you sit at the top of the point. At a lower point, yes, you can see the players, you can identify the players very clearly, but the ball movement and the rest of the team how the team functions, that's not clearly visible. That's why it is not the best location, but it is also okay location. And this diagram is talking about the roof coverage. So if you're going to plan the roof for any kind of stadia, you have to consider. So the structure becomes the major factor in this particular design. Stadium is not just architecture, it's about architecture and structure and services going together hand in hand. So as I said, the playfield derives the size and the shape of the arena. So I'm talking about this typical playfield of 400-meter synthetic track layout where you have almost 10 games played in the same. So, and if this is a cricket ground where you have 140 meters diameter, you just play cricket. And for the indoor arena, for the size of a hall of 50 meter by 30 meter with the paraphernalia of seating and other concourse and other areas, you can play more than 15 games. So I think the module itself becomes self-sustainable when you're supporting 15 games or 10 games at a time and not just one. So we need to promote more of such fields We have good cricket stadium definitely, but we need to promote other sports as well. So you have the field of play, then you have the seating core, you have the internal concourse and the outer circulation area, and you are connected with the outside field. This is what your zoning, basic primary zoning is about. So let me walk you through the sports as a visitor. So you enter the iconic entrance gate to the parking facility, if it is there, then the security and access control, the concourse where you have cafeteria, entertainment, restrooms, staircases, lift course, good entertainment and everything. Then you have vomitories which connect you to the seating level, seating tiers, and definitely you see this beautiful view of the playfield. If you are a sportsman, you have their changing rooms and restrooms and their strategy planning room. Of course, the viewing gallery is a concept used in the cricket. Otherwise, I think most of the sports have dugouts. You have media gallery or media room, a control room where you have all the simulations and graphics done, and you have press conference room for them to conduct events. The other rooms are coach's room, jury or umpire room, physiotherapist room, first aid room, fire control room, and the supportive services which are MEPF rooms, administration, store rooms, toilets and circulation spaces. So what surface finishes we are looking at? We are looking at natural versus artificial. So clay coats, clay ground, clay synthetic flooring, and you have natural turf versus artificial turf. What goes into it? It's about the natural surfaces initially have low cost but a lot of high maintenance, maintaining the grass, cutting the grass, trimming the grass, maintaining the quality of the clay, compactness of the ground, hard surface, or like the crackless or with crack. That kind of detailing goes into the preparation of high maintenance. But I find this is the sustainable way. Whereas synthetic is getting popular because of the low maintenance, though the cost is high, the maintenance is low. It is providing a nice comfort to the players. That's what we have realized because of the EPDM and asphalt base and all this anti-impact cushioning. Artificial turf is very cheap to maintain, but I don't find it sustainable. That is my again personal opinion. Because if they are worn out and they have to be removed, they cause the non-green waste. So we need to think of it like how we promote, which surfaces we promote. Macro level definitely yes, synthetic ones. At micro level maybe yes, the natural ones. So this is a basic idea I'm giving here about the drainage system, how it works below. This is a separate chapter in itself. So it will take another 1 hour to go ahead with it. So you have this drainage system worked out below the layers, like where you have turf, the asphalt layering, and then another layer of some step-on, then aggregate layering, slab, and then you have this, every water is filtered out through all these layers and then connected to the drain pipe, and it is taken out. So for the rectangular fields, more or less you follow this pattern. You have some diagonal patterns also for the rectangular fields. For cricket you have obviously circular. So this is how it is. It is a different topic in altogether. It's interesting. You may read about it online. So for the indoor arenas you have concrete flooring and wooden flooring. Low maintenance, can be they can promote multi-purpose use because you can just lay a layer of carpet and use it for other events like concerts and community gatherings or socio-public events dealt by political or other leaders, community leaders. Whereas high maintenance is what about this polymeric and sheet flooring, synthetic flooring, on which cannot be promoted for multi-purpose use, because if you wear heels and walk on it, this is going to be spoiled. So again, a food for thought, like where you promote synthetic flooring and conventional flooring. A basic image explaining the layering and detailing of it. So how architecture goes into the sports planning is about space planning, quality, aesthetics, creating an iconic design, acoustics, signages, great ambience and memorable experience. In hand, we have structural systems where we need to be careful about durability and strength, long spans, weatherproof, low maintenance, heat insulation and sound insulation in case of arena roofing, indoor hall roofing. And MEPF services, of course, HVAC, air conditioning, fire safety, fire control, electrical, lighting general for the concourse and other areas, and lighting for playfield, which itself again is a vast topic. And you have these three layers of lighting for arena level. You have this training level, lux levels these are the standards set by the international sports fraternity. So you have training level lighting, club level lighting, and national and international level lighting. Again, cue from here, like how we use these variants in our design and plan. You have public address system, BMS service control and access control. So now, bringing all these three factors together, we have this big fat elephant in front of us. So now my question to everybody is, how do we encourage the sports at micro level, if I'm clear? People can write the responses in the chat box. No guesses? How do we take it forward? Yeah. Nice one, Tarun. Yes, Amol. Yeah, Shubhansh, we move to the next slide.
Yes, please, ma'am.
Yeah. So we have potential infrastructure providers or clients, we may say, is local sports supporting organizations, local governing authorities like Gram Panchayats or town councils, educational institutes, of course, as Tarun said, community centers, mid or large scale residential complexes and townships. Industries can promote sports in their premises. Commercial and corporate offices can promote sports in their premises, and sports clubs definitely are functioning, but they are expensive. So they should promote the program, earmark the dedicated spaces for open play fields, identify area in covered spaces like parking podium or stilts, build multi-purpose halls. And if you're providing a swimming pool in your projects, at least provide a half Olympic size pool, which is 12 meters by 25 meters. It helps the serious swimmers or serious sports person. No, I mean, each and every player takes swimming as their exercise. So if you're providing, think of that. Avoid splash pools and kid pools. I mean, I will not recommend these projects, this into the residential projects. Understanding the cost behind tank construction, the infiltration plant cost and the maintenance cost, after a period they just become defunct. So how we take sports at micro level? We think sustainable. Primary focus shall be on consumption of natural light and ventilation. The system shall be designed as efficiently as possible for heating and cooling. We must promote lighting and energy saving equipments, promote water saving plumbing equipments. The outer space shall be maximized for the solar energy. If you read about Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which was constructed in 2020 and opened for everybody, that is a project to be looked at. The entire roof has been constructed with the solar panels, and the project itself is self-sustainable for the electricity with those panels. Minimize the impact on natural damage, use alternative energy sources, use of non-synthetic and non-toxic materials as I just mentioned in the earlier slides, and promote use of local materials such as wood and stone, or promote use of recycled materials. So the space shall be efficient enough to self-sustain and generate revenue for itself. So we should allow the multi-purpose use of the same space. Likewise, we are saying I think almost maximum of all these indoor arenas are being converted as COVID care centers or COVID isolation centers in the current scenario. So the space shall be of multi-purpose use, reused. So I would like to highlight these two case studies. I personally like these two projects a lot. It's a National Cricket Academy at Loughborough by David Morley Architects. It's a small indoor cricket training academy built with lightweight structure construction and within a very short period of time. So you can see the internal space has been naturally lit and ventilated, and it is self-sustainable. It was completed by them within the given budget and cost and time. The second project I would like to talk about as a case study is Archery Hall and Boxing Club in Japan by FT Architects. Such a beautiful place. The architecture defined here is of traditional architectural style in Japan, and the timber here used is all reject material from the furniture companies. The repurposed timber it is. So simple hutment kind of like traditional house kind of architecture defined here. This is a boxing arena, and that is an open space with the archery pools. So Shubhansh, now
Yes, ma'am.
time for the Q&A section.
So before we start with the Q&A session, let me come a little bit forward to each and every one of our members. Everyone will be allowed to express their opinion by unmuting themselves. All you have to do is request to unmute, and I will unmute you, and you can express your opinion on the same. So please make sure that you listen to the question very carefully and then reply accordingly. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am, you can start.
Yeah. So I just thought I should add this small quiz kind of thing to this entire presentation, making this session very interactive. So let's find out bloopers in this plan. This is a residential project in Mumbai by a renowned developer. The special planning of the apartments is very beautiful. I've seen those apartments personally. But find the bloopers in the master plan if anybody can and answer this.
Anybody wants to give a reply to this particular question? All you need to do is find out the mistake that the particular builder has done. What, according to you, can be a negative point? Thinking about and relating it to our particular topic. I'm giving you hints.
Somebody's rude. Yes, Amol. Good observation. And there's one more. I think, shall I just explain it, Shubhansh? What is the next mistake?
Ma'am, there's another answer from
Okay, there is.
Sanjeevani ma'am.
Fire exits as this Sanjeevani. Yeah. This is a technical planning factor. Sanjeevani. About fire exit at this spaces. In this particular slide or other slide, Sanjeevani?
Ma'am, let us complete this slide and then move on to the question that they have provided.
Yeah. So, if you see, the first mistake was pointed out by Amul, architect Amul. The second is, if you see the swimming pool, it's totally surrounded by the trees, at least the layout shows so. And I don't know how the filtration plant is going to be maintained in the future by the overall community. The shape of the pool is also not very, very much promotive for the serious swimmers. So why waste? That's what I feel. Again, my personal opinion. This is the second one for you guys. I think nobody. It's the same mistake again. That's very common. Again, the courts, yes. And the shape of the pools. I mean, why? Why? And this ground is not to the scale. It's not to the scale of the cricket ground size also. If it is just a play field, yeah, concept wise they could go ahead, but it's not to the scale. The
We still
third
got
one.
two answers, ma'am, for the same. We
Oh,
have
oh, nice.
two experts in our basically. They have a keen observation of the
Okay,
entire.
shall we go back then in that case?
They suggested and they said the right answers.
How do I go back? Yeah. Yeah, the changing rooms are far away from the pool. Like people change here and then walk all the way through the path, jogging track, and then come here. Good observation. Okay, we go for the next slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. And the last one is another layout by a renowned developer. All these three are very nice projects in Mumbai. I thought we should have, as architects, we should review these projects. In future also, if we have any such projects coming to us, we should give a thought before going ahead with the work. So, what are the bloopers in this? You can't expect this in residential complexes in mega cities where you don't have proper apartment sizes. But they provided those play fields. Why did they provide at all then? I mean, we could see the other spaces also in the earlier plans. The, the layout allowed them to plan these play fields like this, like this. I mean, there are like three activities planned back to back here. I don't know how those kids are going to play here. There's a small, large chessboard isolated here, away from the kids' play area. Why so? Anyway, so anybody can identify the issues in this layout? Yeah, Pragya, very nice. There are like too many of water bodies, and they are going to be too. The maintenance for these small fragmented pools are going to be a lot. It is going to be equivalent to a large scale swimming pool size. So why not provide a large pool instead of having these fragmented water bodies? And they had nice big space in center. They could plan any other sport or maybe a multi-purpose lawn in that case instead of having this recreational garden. So I think that is it, Shubhansh, at my end. If anybody has any questions, we can take up those questions here. Yes, Tarun.
So, if anybody has any questions regarding what our particular topic is, we have a good opinion list that here,
Yeah.
and we have keen observers in our or as our audience. So, I really appreciate their effort that they're putting in.
Yes, Amol.
So,
That is
I
also true.
before I could proceed, ma'am, I just wanted to go start with a very small question, continuing to Amol sir's question, basically. In mega cities, basically, for example, like Mumbai, we don't have much spaces in whenever we were built up a tower or any place anywhere else. So how can we, being an architect, how can we build in a plan where we can also promote these kind of promotional activities such as sports and playing area for children for projects like for example, there's a building nearby me where it's just a tower. There's no place for you to promote sports, and instead of that, they're occupying the entire thing with more of a parking area. So
Parking is definitely important factor of it. See, but if the plot size doesn't allow you to fit in any kind of sports, at least have a small double height indoor hall, maybe to allow table tennis. This small scale sports where you can play chess, carom, or say table tennis is a place where you can have small hall, but the height requirement is good. For indoor badminton court, you require 9 meters clear at the club level or at the international level. So if we can carve out these kind of spaces, in our premises, in the podium park or podium areas, that will be helpful for other kids. A double height arena or double height multi-purpose hall is good for your banqueting as well. So the purpose gets solved. It is self-sustainable with the revenue and everything. There is somebody writing in Amul again. Yeah. Or like like a community center, if they're like very small plots, like in your TPA schemes you have these small plots which are developed like a single dwelling unit or single house, a single story single standalone building with like 12 story or 13 story or 18 story. So uh, as a local authority we should identify the patches or the green areas or green zones or community areas where you can have these multi-purpose halls built, which can not just support the weddings and other events but also the sports facilities. So space becomes, I mean, it is a self revenue generation module in itself.
Ma'am, if I put into a comparison between a Delhi apartment that is there, these Delhi apartments in a side of Delhi, you have these 4 floors of buildings, and you have this and a huge apartment, or basically a huge society. And in the middle of it, there's a small ground, and they just say that whatever you want to play, you play there. So if you have and there's a lot of space that they can promote, basically
Hmm.
lot of space that I promote. So, if I had to compare now, a place like Mumbai has very, that even if you want to build a building or something, you don't have that ample amount of space here. And
Yeah.
whatever space you get, whatever space you have to make the best out of it, basically. So, if I put a comparison between an infrastructure in Delhi and infrastructure in Mumbai, you see, there are in Delhi there are small 4 floors of building, and over here we have huge towers at the maximum point of time. Don't you think that those apartments that are there in particular Delhi, they can promote sports much better than what we can do it in Mumbai?
Mm, see, if the FAR of the particular city allows that kind of open space allowance surrounding the buildings,
Hmm.
why not take benefit of such spaces? As early we discussed the case about Mumbai, we have small compact floor plates, small compact plots in itself first, and then we take it forward. So, as a city, also as a stakeholder in the planning uh, fraternity, also we need to see how which kind of model suits which kind of city. So for Mumbai, we may need more community centers which promote sports and other activities. Maybe if you have large complexes, there you individual group of complex residential townships or individual group of buildings can have their own set of space and encourage students. Schools which use, as per norms in Mumbai, we require 40% of playground. Not just Mumbai, I think in India each and every educational governing authority or any guideline, if you go to see, you have a requirement of 40% of playground land reserved open for this factor, but it is not possible and it is not maintained. I don't know why. So it is not that our guidelines and norms are not allowing, they are allowing, but while taking the project forward, the focus is more on something else than the sports.
So, ma'am, basically, one last question before
Yeah.
I move forward. Um, so we all know that most of our Olympics and heroes and all our sportsmanship have also come from a rural areas of our
Yeah.
country.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to bring more and more betterment or more better architecture into that particular thing, what would your suggestion would be? According, if you wanted to sum it up in one particular point, or if you wanted to explain it to someone, how would you exactly put it in?
Okay. So we have to set up more sports centers in at the town level or gram panchayat level, as I said earlier. For example, this Mirabai Chanu traveled a lot for the practice into a space which is set by the international standards, designed as per the lighting guidelines, the sports flooring, the environment, and everything. She traveled so much, and I think she honored her honored the truck drivers who helped her a lot after winning the medals. So instead of just awarding her big things like cars and things like that. If people could support her with the uh, I mean, I would say develop a school in her village where she can do practice regularly and she can train the young kids as well in the future. So why not take that cause forward and take it forward? So there are like a lot of CSRs and NGOs taking this initiative and supporting the causes. They all have to look at this very seriously and come up with the solution and promote the sports at the grassroots level as well. Yeah, Shubhash?
That is really great, ma'am. It was
Yeah.
really great. I would like to take a moment and wait for any other questions that any of our
Okay.
participants want to have. At that time, I'm going to ask everyone. I've sent my our Telegram group link, and I would like to ask a simple question of which you can give us a reply on our social media handles, or you can just join our Telegram group and let us know what you think about it. On a personal level, how can an architect help grow grow the sports association, or what you can say the scope of sports in our country? On a personal level, how can you increase the chances of us winning more and more gold? How can you give an opportunity for a sports person or to promote themselves? How can these opportunities can be brought by a single architect? Before anybody else expresses, ma'am, what do you think? On a personal level, how can we help others? How can we help our sports persons?
It's about just like how I've run through this presentation to the people. We need to, if a project comes to you, when you're planning the open spaces, look at them that you're going to groom the minds, young minds who are going to stay in that residential township or any kind of thing, and develop those open spaces to cater and support the professional sports activities, not just open playgrounds or open lawns. That is what I would look at each and every assignment coming to me.
That's really great, ma'am. That's really
Yeah.
great. I think we should move on to our end of our session.
Yeah.
And it was really great to have you on our platform, and your views and opinions are really perfect. And we really enjoyed this webinar throughout. I was really glued to the screen the entire time. So thank you so much, and thank you for your time. I
Thank
would
you
al-
too much. Yeah. Thank you,
I would
Seedtree, for
also
the
like
invitation.
to thank all our audience for staying with us through the entire tenure. And I would like to see you on our next episode, which we will be introducing soon. So stay tuned on our social media handles and our Telegram group. So bye everyone. Good night. Take care. And see you soon.